I need to have a very honest, cathartic conversation with everyone today, and I was going to make a video about OP17 and thinking about, not to make mistakes about when you're going into pre-release and talking about OP17 again, and I will make a video on that, but I'm feeling a bit burnt out with collecting, and I wanted to talk about today the real reason that collecting has become so exhausting, and that we're on this release treadmill. And with some of my earlier videos I spoke about like burnout from, why do I collect One Piece? Okay, it's from years of watching the anime. Watching the anime actually over too long a period. I should have watched it in a more condensed way, but I've watched it over years and years and years. And even then I didn't start collecting until OP04, OP05. So when OP01 was out, it kind of went under my radar. It wasn't even really on my radar, even though I like collecting stuff. Collected other TCGs. But I started collecting One Piece, and I spoke about it being the cure for burnout. And I thought, let's be honest. Let's be real about how I'm feeling. And I have so many people, and it's great to hear from you guys, and this is why I started the channel, talking and reaching out to me on Instagram, on Johnny Rocket. And please add me on Instagram if you want to chat. Always happy to talk on Instagram. I've got like probably 30 people that I speak to, like 25 to 30 people that I speak to semi-frequently that are collectors on Instagram. Like, I'll always get back to you on Instagram. Always try to. And I realized that I was talking about how it's the cure for burnout. And that's because the way I was collecting before, and then it's just become that I'm always just focusing on the next thing, and then I don't even enjoy it. And I'm realizing this today, that it's kind of like the chase is kind of what it's all about. And I ordered the watermelon Luffy. I know it's not an official Bandai card, and it's kind of cool to collect these different kind of cards, and I know that's not a Bandai official, but I think it's cool to collect this kind of stuff. But I felt myself falling into this sort of trap now, where you get into the treadmill of release after release after release, card after card, promo after promo, and you start following guides. And this is why I've always been a bit anti the spreadsheet and anti, I've tried to make a channel to talk to the community, talk to you guys, talk about the art, talk about the IP, talk about One Piece, talk about the anime, talk about the characters. I've enjoyed the conversation. I think a few people were like, how is Chopper not in your top 5? I mean, I think that's an interesting take if Chopper's in your top 5. I had like 4 or 5 people reach out to me, even a few on Instagram reach me and go, I can't believe Chopper's not in your top 5 characters. This is the stuff I like talking about. And then also like the difference in, I love talking about, we were talking in the last video about the gold dons and the EBO2 leaders. Some people love them and swear by them. Some people did really well financially out of those cards. And then the gold dons, how I said they were mid, and I know One Piece of Insight is really loves the connection to it. That's the kind of conversation I really enjoy having. I think I've made videos talking about trying to help people to save money, not to make simple mistakes in terms of when they're collecting. If you're new, or even if you're experienced, we all fall into these traps when you're collecting. And I've realized that what happens is you start to get into this algorithm of content from One Piece, and then I'm just self-reflecting, and I'm going to the room of mirrors and going, am I part of the problem? Isn't that a strange place to be? Where I wanted to create a channel talking about community, and then I'm reflecting on my own content going, I'm one of those people that is giving advice about how to collect, and that's kind of, I think you should just collect how you want to collect. And isn't it sometimes just about having that honest conversation to say, when I was listening to the mega stream the other day, I just thought, I can relate to obviously One Piece of Insight and what he's saying, and it was very interesting talking to him in my comments. We were having a back and forth about, he's I think his most expensive card was $550, and it was kind of refreshing to hear that from him. And I loved listening to the other guys on the pod. It's like, because it's just like I said, there's different leagues to this, there's different levels to this game. But you know, how many of you I wanted to put this out there because I think a lot of you are feeling like that, and I think there's way, and it's the classic you can't collect them all thing, right? And obviously I want to bring out content, I want to stay relevant, I want to talk to you guys in the community, I want to bring you my take on the latest stuff. But then you get into this treadmill of the release cycle, promo after promo, set after set. OP16 is 5 to 6 weeks old, and we're already looking at OP17. Like, you don't even have a chance to look back, and that's why I made a video looking back on OP14, 15, 16 to say, guys, there's some cards here. There's some cards here that you should really look at. Like, I've not even managed to pick up the Alt Art from OP16, the Whitebeard. It's £20. Like, that's the stuff I really enjoy collecting, that I get a value out of. And you can have this weird empty feeling when you collect, when you're just buying all the time. And the question I have for all of you is like, how long are you planning to collect for? In this way, how many people have reached out to me and said, like, I'm taking a break? I can't collect like this for the next, I want to collect for the next 5 years. I can't collect at this pace. It's not sustainable. What I do for my work is mentally exhausting. I don't want to get burnt out in something I enjoy and a hobby. That's why I go like bike riding. That's why I play golf. I'm supposed to be doing hobbies that are not going to stimulate in that way. That's why I stopped playing video games, because I was feeling burnt out. I know some of you guys play loads of video games. Like, I always used to love that because it would help me switch off. And then I just, are we supposed to consume that much content? And then it's sort of, you know, I found it really calming to collect in the TCG space. And then, and this isn't just about a cost thing, because like, at what cost are we going to continue just to pump money into this? And you find yourself, who's found themselves in this cycle of, you know, you collect and then you're not satisfied unless you get a 10. And I spoke about the perfection paradox, you know, probably 3 months ago, and I see One Piece of Insight just did a fantastic tips video, and this is, you know, talking about perfectionism. It's like, what's wrong with a 9? You know, I've got a 9, I've got this, you know, you'll frighten me. And I always, you know, I could just, you know, I love this in a 9. It's an ace 9. This has no value in the market because of the way that this stuff's perceived, but I love it because I pulled it. It's off center. I mean, this is worth more to me in a 9 than a 10. And like, why do I care? Like, why don't I collect more 9s? Oh, I do collect 9s, and actually I get great satisfaction out of this perfect example of the Diet Luffy in a 9. It's absolutely mint. To me, it's mint. There's not a mark on it. There's no whitening on it. I won't be able to get you. That's just my kid's greasy fingerprints on the back. But, you know, there's no whitening on it. There's no dents on it. There's no... Is it off center? Maybe a touch. Not to me. Not to me just looking at it. And I love it in a 9. And actually, it's tripled in value since I bought it like 6 weeks ago. It's ridiculous. I think it was like... I traded some stuff and I think I paid £100. So I think I was all in about £200 on that for the stuff I traded. I think it's worth over £1,000 now in a 9, like $1,200-ish, something like that. But what's wrong with 9s? Like, why don't we buy more 9s? Like, that's why I started collecting the binder stuff as well. Sorry, this stuff. Because it's like, do I care, really? Why am I getting so bothered? Like, there's great satisfaction actually from me finding a deal on... this is why I collected Japanese as well. I know... Again, you know, been talking about Japanese for a while. Everyone said there's no value in it, you know. Collecting this, is it... Actually, it's pretty mint. It's got a little of whitening on the right. I remember there was something wrong with it. Does it bother me though? Will it 10? Probably not. Is it still super cool? It's in Japanese, it was a lot cheaper. So I think just like taking time to collect the way you want to collect, get the art you want to collect, you know, of course, if you're trying to maximize value, like why are we all trying to maximize value the whole time? Like, what is this about? You know, I made a video ages ago about like telling a story about how when I was at a card show and I was with a vendor, and there was a vendor with his girlfriend or somebody he was dating, and she asked me a question. She said, "Why'd you collect?" Stumped me. Couldn't answer it. Why do I collect cards? It's the anime. It's One Piece. It's my love of the IP. It's my love of the anime. It's my love of the cards. It's my love of the quality of the cards. It's everything about it. But I couldn't summarize it at the time. I couldn't put my finger on it. And then you go through these stages where you're like, especially when you overbuy, and it's not even from a financial perspective, and maybe that's one of the dangers when you do get to my age maybe, and you do get a bit more disposable income, that you get into a cycle of spending and buying, and sometimes it's good to take a break. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and just say, why am I collecting? And you know, honestly, like up outside of the Demon God pack, which is, for me, it just feels special. It still feels special. Outside of that, what have I enjoyed collecting the most in the last few months? For all the stuff I've bought, what have I really, really enjoyed collecting? I've really enjoyed collecting the leaders, and it's not complete, you know, and these leaders from OP, I've enjoyed collecting these more. I pulled the Ace, which again feels good, and then I bought the Luffy at a good price. It's gone up since I bought it. I think I paid £60. I think it's gone up to about 80 to £100 now, so like 100 to 120 US-ish. And I picked these other ones up like as they've dipped down, and I think they'll continue to go down. I want to get the buggier. This is the stuff I enjoy. I actually enjoy collecting. I get satisfaction out of it, and not just I've completed it, mate. It's not about just completing it. It's about the journey. It sounds cliche, but then if you get burnt out on what you're doing, then it's kind of like, what's the point? Anyway, I wanted to make a video on OP17, but then I've had this, sometimes I get in a reflective mood and I want to make content, and you know, following guides and optimizing the way you collect, and then feeling like maybe you're part of the problem. It's a weird position to be in, because you're like, well, trying to help the community out, but then is there really a right or wrong way to collect? Isn't it just about learning along the way? Do we need to optimize our lives to the point where it takes all the joy out of it? It's not about wasting money. You shouldn't waste your money. You should be smart. You know, I've mentioned a lot about contrarian collecting. I think One Piece of Insight, what a great video his last one was. He spoke about it, and I've been big on it. He said, you know, there's misses as well, and you've got to be prepared for it. But my argument is that's all part of it. The misses are part of it. You know, the gold dons might be the one. They might be the home run. Bam. I can't do it, but I've got some gold dons, but it's not by design. I've just picked a few of them up. I've ripped a few of them. I've ripped them from PRB at the time, you know, so I've got a few of them, but you get my point, right? It's not just, sometimes when we optimize to that point, and I think the contrarian thing is very interesting, because I've made videos about not following the crowd and not being a sheep, and thinking about what you want to collect and why you want to collect it a little bit more, and you end up then, because you know what, if you do that, one, financially it rewards you higher, finding the hidden gems, but you're gonna have a lot more misses than hits. Even when everything's going up now, I think the buds have said it well, Straw Hat Speculators said it well, you know, you have to kind of expect to have more misses than than hits. And even in this market, you're gonna, everything feels like it's going up until it doesn't anymore. And then ultimately what you're left with, you have to enjoy, otherwise you're just going to be left with a load of stuff that you don't want. Anyway, bit of a reflective video. I enjoy actually making this kind of content. I feel like I've just been to therapy myself. So thank you guys for listening. I guess the takeaway is, you know, collect how you want to collect. Is optimizing the way you collect always the best way? Do we always need to over-engineer everything? Sometimes do we need guides? Don't waste your money, do your research, but sometimes just do what you think's right. And then everything else will work itself out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. More content on the way, and we'll see you on the next one.